Hello everyone, thank you so much for coming and watching my video. My name is Sarika, I'm from Melbourne. In this video, I'll be showing you how to make Jun Kombucha. Jun Kombucha is an alternative version of traditional kombucha, but it's extremely tasty and flavorful. The only difference between the traditional kombucha and the Jun Kombucha is the ingredients that we're using. To make the Jun Kombucha, we use the green tea and the honey. In traditional kombucha, we use the black tea and the sugar. So when you make the Jun Kombucha, you cannot replace any of the ingredients that we're using. You can add, but you cannot replace it. You cannot replace the honey with the sugar, because then it's not Jun. So I'll be making Jun Kombucha in this jar. This is around 2 liters of jar, and I'm gonna wear my gloves so I can show you how the SCOBY looks like. To make kombucha, you will need a SCOBY. SCOBY is nothing but a symbiotic culture of yeast and bacteria, and it looks something like this. Oops, sorry, it's very slippery. Something like this. It's round. Yeah. You can actually buy this from the marketplace or from Amazon. You only need to buy once, because each time when you make kombucha, it will create another SCOBY. You can call it SCOBY or pellicle. I call it SCOBY because that's what most people call it. So you can buy the SCOBY, but make sure when you buy the SCOBY, you also get some starter tea with it. So the starter tea is nothing but the previous tea that we made. So when, if any seller is selling the SCOBY, make sure they sell the SCOBY with the starter tea in it. If you think the starter tea is not enough, you can buy a store-bought kombucha or store-bought Jun Kombucha, and you can use that as a starter tea. And you'll be needing I'm making around 2 liters, so you'll be needing 4 green tea bags. So one of them is not just green tea, it has green tea with the peach flavor, because I like a little bit of peachy flavor with it. And then the honey. So I got around nearly half a cup of honey. That's what you need to make around 2 liters of Jun. The first part of making Jun kombucha is to make the tea. So you get a jar or vessel and you pour the hot water in it, because it's really important that you steep the tea. So I'm going to put 4 tea bags in it. If you don't have tea bags, you can actually measure it with teaspoon. So it's around 4 teaspoons of green tea. That's what you need. And then you need to steep it for 10 minutes or 15 minutes. So my tea is steeping. It's almost 10 minutes now. So you can see the color of the water has changed. And then I'm going to pour that into this container. It's really hot. Then you can add the honey into this. Just make sure you add the honey when it's warm or hot. Otherwise, the honey won't melt easily. You don't really need to wear the gloves. If you can just use the bare hand. Make sure you wash it. I've been washing and my hands are really dry. So I thought I'd just wear the gloves. I'll take even the last bits of the honey. Just mix it really well. And then use a wooden spoon, the back of the wooden spoon, and then mix it. Mix it really well. This water is super hot, so do not put the SCOBY when the water is hot. If you put the SCOBY when the water is hot, the SCOBY will die, because the SCOBY and the starter tea is full of live bacteria and yeast. It needs a certain temperature to grow. You can see my honey is almost melted. And into that, you can either add cold water or you can just wait until it's cooled down to the room temperature. I'll be adding cold water. It's still warm. So we just put it aside and let it cool. Okay, I have checked the temperature. It's around 26.1 or 26.2 degrees Celsius, and that's the best temperature. So just make sure your temperature is between 16 degree to 29 degree, but ideally when it's between 24 and 26 degrees Celsius, the SCOBY actually thrive. So now it's ready, it's cooled down. So I'm going to add the SCOBY and the starter liquid. So here's my SCOBY. I'm going to add the starter liquid. So you can see the SCOBY is floating in the bottom. Sometimes it comes up here, it doesn't matter. So don't worry whether your SCOBY is floating around or in the bottom, or it doesn't really matter. So once it's done, you need to cover it with a clean paper or a cloth and put a rubber band around and leave it somewhere in a cool, dark place for about a week or two. And I'll show you how the second fermentation is.